One of my favorite comedians and actors is Dane Cook. I like him a lot because he likes trolls, people that heckle his concerts. He doesn't shy away from his critics, and I like that in a person who doesn't back off, doesn't let up, and doesn't let other people just walk over him. He really speaks up for himself. So Trump is a troll, okay? And people that support Trump are Trump trolls. That's what I call them. Trump's good at labeling people, but that's my label for Mr. Trump. Is he's a troll. He just trolls the party, Kamala Harris, the other party. He doesn't believe in God, doesn't believe in anything that he professes to believe other than money and his love for money and his greed. And so everybody kind of latches onto him, and then they start trolling other people as well. That's why I call his followers Trump trolls as well. If you want evidence of that, check out my channel on YouTube. I just started there, and I've always, for years, I've avoided posting on YouTube because whatever you put out there, people are going to not look critically or listen to whatever your videos are saying. They either like you or hate you. And so there's no real interaction between the people that make these videos and the people that watch them. So I don't want people just to kiss my ass and just, I want people to look for themselves, know things for themselves. And I'm just making suggestions based solely on my own experience and things that I have experience of. And I don't have an opinion about everything like Mr. Troll up there does. He has an answer for everything. He's the chosen one, as he even describes himself, and other people even regard him as that same way. But he doesn't know shit. He doesn't really know anything. He just talks, 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 and carries on. And so there's no conversation, there's no interaction, there's no honest evaluation. I don't care what he talks, says, it's never what he really thinks. And people just take what he says at face value, so those would be his trolls and sycophants who want to spread the gospel of Donald Trump, and they choose that over the gospel of Jesus Christ. If they're Christians, they're fake Christians. And if they're not Christians, they just want to troll people to be able to gain an advantage. So they, like Trump, can become thieves and felons like him. Even if he had no felonies, convictions on him, he's basically a crook, and he has been his whole life. And so why kid yourself, and why try to fool me? See, so if you look at my YouTube, you see that it's just all these trolls. And I only have a few videos I posted there. And for number one is you can tell they haven't really watched the videos at all. If I put anything, say, about hell, then they give right away, there's no hell, there's this, you're foolish, blah, 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 blah. But they didn't watch the video. They just got triggered because I said a word, a certain word. You say a word, they automatically get up in arms. That's a troll. You know, if you watch something, you don't agree with it, that's different. You see? And if you watch something and you think it's bullshit, well, that's different too, because you watched it, okay? So there's something there that you were interested in and you were disappointed. And then express your disappointment. Say what it is that you don't like. But, even in my group, Politico Today, I've had that group for a decade, and I still can't interact with the group. Even after I banned all, Trump people from the group, even with the liberals, I can't communicate with them, and because, they think you're either for or against something, and they don't really take responsibility for the fact that what is happening now to some degree is the liberals' fault. Supreme Court justices that Obama failed to appoint or even tried to appoint. He left it to the next administration, so Trump then appointed the judges that he wanted, and who can blame him? Obama's the one who let that happen, and so the liberals won't stand up for themselves. They won't say it as it is. They themselves are trolling every speech of Trump and see what he says now and what he says, and they have all these captions on YouTube. Now it's over. Now it's this. Now it's that. They're not really dealing with reality. The reality is you need to know about 225. You need to know the content and substance of his campaign. And then you need to attack it if you don't agree with it and you understand what it is and what you're really up against and what the nation is really up against, quite frankly, because the democratic form of government that we have is in complete and utter jeopardy under a Trump administration. And that's been in the works and the planning stages since he first was elected president. He's been working on lining his pockets, and now he's got bigger plans to line his pockets more and to stack the Justice Department, all the different departments of government, to just be his tools. Okay? And so, if you don't see that, well, I can't help you. And if that's not your concern, well, then I can't speak to that either. That's why I'm not keen on these other issues to me that people make issues about, to me, are what I call wedge issues. Their intention is just to divide people from being able to participate and be part of the society. They're not specifically issues that are part of the Constitution, and what is not in the Constitution or part of the Constitution, I would just consider to be a wedge issue. It may be an important issue. It may be a valid issue. But the Constitution is the sole issue when it comes to voting and the way of democratic society. If you disavow or suspend the Constitution, it's over, baby. It's done. We're through. Okay? You don't understand what the Constitution is? Well, I'll tell you. It's separation of church and state, freedom from religion and of religion. If you don't know that, you haven't studied history. Look at the Great Awakening. Look at what influenced those people that wrote the Constitution. Sometimes the secularists talk about the Age of Enlightenment and how the Constitution was written from the Age of Enlightenment. That is true. But the Age of Enlightenment, before came the Reformation. They always say the Dark Ages. Well, the Dark Ages, and then there was the Reformation, which was in the Reformation period where there was Christians who stood against the Dark Ages and the Christian religion that was up to the Dark Ages. That was the law of the land. Now people want to go back to the Dark Ages, and they want to make the law of the religion the law of the land. But there's no Christian reformers or people who would stand up and stand against those who would reform the laws of the land to be the laws of the Bible. You see, that's not what the Constitution is about. It's not based on the law and the code of Moses, the Judaic code. It's based on inalienable rights. Every person has an inalienable right to choose, and to choose to believe or not to believe in God. And so I choose to believe in God, but I will defend those who choose not to, because that, to me, is a true Christian faith.